Imagine a city of wood. Imagine a city of wood. Houses, sidewalks, even roads, all crafted from timber. This was Chicago in 1871, a bustling, rapidly growing metropolis, but also a tinderbox just waiting for a spark. On the night of October 8th, that spark arrived, igniting one of the most infamous disasters in American history, the Great Chicago Fire. The story everyone knows is the one about Mrs. O'Leary's cow. Legend has it that a cow in her barn on DeKalb Street kicked over a lantern, starting the blaze. But is that what really happened? While the fire did indeed start in or near the O'Leary barn, the story of the clumsy cow was likely a fabrication by a reporter looking for a more colourful narrative. Catherine O'Leary herself swore she was in bed at the time, and she was officially exonerated of all blame. The true cause, whether it was a discarded cigarette, a spark from a chimney, or something else entirely, remains a mystery lost to the flames, but the cause is only the beginning of the story. That Sunday night, Chicago was dangerously vulnerable. It had been a long, dry summer with very little rain. A strong, relentless wind was blowing from the southwest, perfectly positioned to push the flames toward the heart of the city. The fire department, exhausted from fighting a large fire just the day before, was slow to respond. The initial alarm sent them to the wrong location, a fatal delay that allowed the small barn fire to grow into an unstoppable monster. By the time firefighters arrived at DeKalb Street, the fire was already out of control. The intense heat created its own weather system, a terrifying fire whirl that hurled flaming debris across the city. Embers the size of dinner plates were carried by the wind, starting new fires blocks away from the main blaze. The wooden sidewalks and streets acted like fuses, carrying the fire with terrifying speed. People who thought they were safe suddenly found their own homes engulfed in flames. The fire crossed the south branch of the Chicago River with ease. It leaped from building to building, consuming the supposedly fireproof downtown district. Banks, hotels, the opera house, and the courthouse all fell victims. The heat was so intense it melted iron and stone. The courthouse bell, weighing nearly 3 tons, crashed down through the burning tower. The city's business district, the engine of its prosperity, was being erased from the map in a matter of hours. Panic gripped the city's 300,000 residents. The streets were a scene of chaos and desperation. People fled their homes with whatever they could carry, pushing carts and wheelbarrows piled high with their worldly possessions. The bridges became bottlenecks of terror as crowds surged north, trying to escape the inferno. Some sought refuge in the cold waters of Lake Michigan, standing neck-deep to escape the searing heat and smoke-filled air. Eyewitness accounts describe a sky glowing an apocalyptic red, the air thick with ash, and the roar of the fire deafening. For nearly 30 hours, the fire raged. It burned a path roughly 4 miles long and nearly a mile wide, devouring over 3 square miles of the city. When it finally exhausted itself, running out of fuel and aided by a much-needed rain shower on the morning of October 10th, The devastation was almost total. The statistics are staggering. An estimated 300 people lost their lives, though the true number is likely higher as many bodies were never recovered, completely consumed by the fire. 100,000 people, a full third of the city's population, were left homeless. 18,000 buildings were destroyed. The financial loss was estimated at $200 million, an astronomical sum for the time, equivalent to billions today. The heart of Chicago was gone, reduced to a smoldering landscape of rubble and blackened chimneys, which stood like lonely tombstones against the sky. But the story of the Great Chicago Fire is not just one of destruction. It's also a story of incredible resilience. In the immediate aftermath, the world watched, wondering if the city could ever recover. Aid poured in from across the country and around the globe. But more importantly, the spirit of Chicago, the I Will spirit, took hold. Almost immediately, plans for rebuilding began. The rubble wasn't just cleared, it was used as landfill to expand the city's shoreline. This disaster provided a unique opportunity, a blank canvas for architects and city planners. They weren't just rebuilding what was lost, they were building something new, something better. The new Chicago would rise with stricter fire codes, using materials like brick, stone, and steel. This tragic event spurred an architectural revolution, paving the way for the world's first skyscrapers and establishing Chicago as a global center for modern architecture. Within a few years, the city was not only rebuilt, but was larger and more prosperous than ever before. The fire, as devastating as it was, became a catalyst for innovation and growth. It forged a new identity for Chicago, a city that could withstand anything and come back stronger. So, while we may never know for sure if a cow started the Great Chicago Fire, we know what followed. It was a story of human error, of nature's power, and of unimaginable destruction. But above all, it's a testament to the unshakable spirit of a city that refused to be defeated. A city that literally rose from its own ashes to become the great American metropolis it is today. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into history's most compelling moments. See you next time.